All right, hello everyone. So today we have a student from the University of Southern California. His name is Nana. So Nana, can you actually go ahead and please introduce yourself?
All right, hi guys. So my name is Nana-Yirenkyi, Nana for short. It's easy. I am 18 years old. I'm from Ghana, West Africa. Uh, as Christian said, I'm a student at USC, and my major is econ with prospective minors. I'm not going to get into that because I haven't started them yet, but yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
uh, yeah.
All right, sounds good. So obviously you mentioned that you're an econ major. So I guess first and foremost, what made you choose to go into economics?
I just genuinely like economics. I just like how I want to understand how, economies work, and, how I can use that knowledge to really like come back home and impact my country and, take it forward, in the long run. Yeah, it's just really like since I was a child, I just kind of like econ and stuff like that.
So I like how you mentioned that you said obviously taking your education and coming back to Ghana. So after
Yeah.
your time at university, do you plan to go back to Ghana and actually work like in the economic sector back home at your home country?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Especially with I don't know, it's really like I have this fundamental belief that, I'm in the position that I'm in, in order to be able to create that opportunity for others. So what I really plan to do with econ is like I actually plan to go in the financial world, which is like investment banking and stuff like that. So yeah, I plan to come back and work, or start an investment company of sorts. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it goes well.
That's
Um,
awesome. Yeah, no, I think that's a really cool goal to have. Actually, I think it's nice knowing that you have at least some goal that you want to reach. So it's really nice to see that you have that objective to go for. Now, obviously, like we mentioned, you're from Ghana in West Africa, and yet you're going to school in California here in the United States. So
yeah.
I guess in general, well, why did you choose to go to USC?
Okay. So why did I choose USC? Um, my parents say it's a plot to get as far away as possible, which might be true, because LA is quite far from Accra, which is the capital city. It's about 18 hours in flight time, but
Oh wow.
24 when you add like transits and stuff. But why did I choose USC? I think it was really, I mean, the thing that caught me was largest international population, and I was like, oh my god. um, but it's really about LA, like the culture of LA. It's just it's closely related to um, kind of like American culture and media and stuff like that. So it's really just to get a good 4 years in America is like it's fun and um as possible. But also, books are important. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I
Um
now, yeah, I mean, you're definitely right when you're touching up on an international population. I mean, half of our suite was basically international students, so it was really nice to see people come
yeah,
from a lot of different places. And
yeah,
you mentioned obviously that, like we said before, coming from like a different state or a different city to a new one for college is obviously a challenge in itself. But in your
yeah.
case, you're coming from a completely different country. So I guess in
Yeah.
your opinion, how hard was it to get accustomed to the new culture or to kind of shift your societal beliefs in some extent to assimilate, I guess,
Great.
in culture? So if you could just touch up on that.
For sure. It was huge. I'll just say that. Like it was really big. I remember my first 2 weeks in school and I was literally just class straight back to my room. I did not see anyone. I could not make any friends. I was just like scared because it's just like it's so many people
Yeah.
across campus, and I'm seeing like my fellow freshmen and they have friends already, and I'm like, we just got here. How do you have friends? Because like when I applied, I didn't know a single soul. I didn't know anyone. I was just going in and like my first time on campus was when I moved in.
Hmm.
So it was a huge shock. Societal beliefs, it's very different. Back in Ghana, it's a bit more conservative. It's generally a Christian population, and it's very it's very out there.
Yeah.
And certain beliefs, my people my people here, we just are against. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
really
for sure.
shifting from that, the type of conversations you have, the comments that you make. I learned to be careful of what I say,
Hmm.
and just not just speak out of turn, because I mean, like, generally when you go to somewhere new, you try and learn, what I mean, like, it's a normal thing. You try and learn how they are, how they act. So first semester was pretty much, it was really like a crash course, learning to respect learning to
Yeah.
respect the culture and people's beliefs, and generally a very liberal society, which I had nothing against. I mean, it was just me learning it in person instead of like from the media, as I would if I were in Ghana. Um, but yeah, that was yeah, it was rough, but we got it, I think. I mean, now I feel like pretty much comfortable,
Hmm.
but first semester was definitely, it was a trip, but we're
Yeah,
good.
no, no. I mean, I definitely. I mean, even for coming from, even for me going to school, you meeting a lot of people from different backgrounds, stuff like that, and obviously it's like a lot of different cultures. We're coming from different countries, different cities, and like, you can go into like all the historical or political aspects of how each respective person got to where they were, but
Yeah,
yeah, I would think that, especially for an international student coming from a completely different country, coming to the
yeah,
United States, where we have way different probably politics, way different societal beliefs, and all that stuff. It definitely does take time to transition and grow into that, because it can be
yeah,
pretty complex and pretty messy at times. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, definitely in your case, though things will have a rocky start for some, maybe not for others, but for some
definitely.
they will have that rocky start. But
Yeah,
all about, going through it. And I mean, I see you now. You're always hanging out with like a lot of friends. You're like living life. You're in LA, dude. So yeah, I think in the end, it will work out as long as you take the time, just let it grow and stuff like that. Yeah.
yeah,
So actually, now I want to take a step back. Going back to when we were in high school, back in our senior year, applying into college. So I guess first and foremost, if you could summarize, how did you feel about the college application process? And then, especially in your situation where you're applying to an international school,
yeah,
or I guess not international, but like out of country. How was that
yeah.
like for you?
It was. Oh my goodness, it was. It was tough. I remember that Christmas. Was that 2018 Christmas? Yeah, about. So what happened actually was I did EA for Stanford, and obviously I didn't get it. I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, oh my god, I just loved it. And that was painful in itself. But I remember December, I applied to, like, I think about 13 different schools,
Hmm.
and just the essay process, I was like day and night just typing. I was like, oh my goodness, because, like, I'm trying to give really like the best impression of who I am, the best and most honest, so that, they could really get to know me. Because I feel like, especially as an international student, it's a bit tough, what I mean, in terms of, especially when you're applying to like US schools. So like I'm trying to think of what are they called the admission board?
Yeah, yeah, I guess we can go with a
Guys
panel,
who
something like
review,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like the guys who review, our applications and stuff, I'm trying to think about how to combat certain stereotypes that they would impose on like an African student, for example. What I mean?
Uh-huh.
So it's just really trying to represent myself to the fullest, and that was painful, man. I mean, like the IB applications, the Common App essay in itself,
Hmm.
stuff like that, because the grades and SAT stuff, it's really not enough to cut it. So I really just had to write like I was Shakespeare or something. I just had to, I just had to spaz a little bit. But yeah, it was tough, but we got through it. Definitely something I would never forget.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it's definitely true because, looking back at it, like you said, it's hard to get a specific representation of yourselves, especially since those admission panels or boards, you don't know if there's like inherent biases or something that they might have on a student,
Exactly.
especially like
Exactly.
if you're an international student. like we mentioned earlier, the culture and stuff is very different. So if you give a perspective that's totally off from the way America kind of runs, you're kind of like out of luck in that sense because it's way
Yeah.
different. They're maybe not used to it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I would imagine it's pretty tough for international students. And I'm just curious, did you apply to any schools within Ghana or any universities within your own country, or was it all like
No, I
international?
didn't. I did not. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, like our education system is not really that great here. We're still building it up. And, my siblings all went to school in America. My dad did. Um, and my dad is, he's a crazy guy. So he's an Ivy guy. So he did, he did his master's in Columbia and Yale.
Oh wow.
So he's very strict on school and stuff. So he fully believes that go out there, get a good education, come back, and see how you can use your input to help your people. So that's really where I get my thinking from, I guess.
No, I mean, I really like that, especially since, I guess for you and from your opinion, if the education system is not that good, obviously coming to America and then going back to help improve, how things are going in your country, I think that's actually a really great thing to do. And I know a lot of students who are actually international, they have that mindset where they actually come to America first and then go back to their own countries and help improve it even more. And I
Yeah.
really appreciate, how thoughtful they're thinking about it, like that their educational and academic pursuits are to help, other people in the community. I think that's really cool to see. And I guess, something I want to ask, specific, like we mentioned, you being an international student, obviously, visiting campuses in America, like you mentioned, it's already a long flight to get from
Yeah.
Ghana to LA. So, how did you get information about the schools here in America? Was it just like through internet, maybe classmates? I don't know if your school provided any resources for you, but like, what was your way of getting information?
So my school actually, we do have a sorry, I blanked out. We have a college counselor. So she was the goat. She just like told us about schools here and there. But if I'm being honest, how I found out about USC was I was applying to Stanford. So I was researching on Stanford, and they were like, "Oh, other schools in California include." I was like, USC, huh? Okay. So I just noted it down and I applied later. I've only school I've been to. Wow, yeah. Only school I've been to was Columbia. I was taking my sister, but
Okay.
that was 2014. So we were helping her move in and stuff. But my brother went to Williams. I missed his graduation because I had exams at the same time.
Mm.
So yeah, I've only been to one school. But yeah. So it's mostly college counselors and research. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, no, I definitely think, because especially it's hard enough for a lot of students in the United States who are, out of state, far away cities that don't have the opportunity to travel. And I can only imagine what it's like for international students, just the expense of just flying over the
Yeah, it's
country.
tough.
And yeah, and we have a lot of schools in the U.S. The U.S. is huge. So like you got from West Coast to East Coast, like just even for me traveling to what East Coast is already hard enough, and then for you
Yeah.
have to it's even longer. So like
Yeah.
no complaints on my end, but definitely I always imagine it's pretty difficult. But it's nice to see that at least you had some ways to navigate through and still get
Yeah.
the information, even just like
So I
looking
mean,
at other. Mhm.
sorry, but like if I'm gonna, sorry to cut you off. I'm so sorry.
No, 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 I'll get it.
But like so it's just really about doing intense research, watching a day in the life on YouTube and stuff like that. Just trying to get an in-person feel as much as possible because it's really, you can't just get up and say, oh, okay, I'm gonna go to BU
Mhm.
to go to the campus. You know what I mean? Like it's come on. It's
Yeah.
plane tickets. It's just so it's really about extensive research, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you on that. I mean, whether you're international or, in state in the US, it's a lot of research, there's a lot you have to research and go into. And I guess, just to wrap up the college application aspect of this, I would say that if you could have changed anything or you could have redone the entire college application process, what would you have picked or, done differently?
If I'm being honest, I don't think I would change anything.
Hmm.
Because really, it's a lesson in itself. Like I can't really see it going any other way than it went. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was it's a tough process. It's generally a tough process. If I could change anything, I think if I could change anything, maybe I guess campus visits, I guess.
Mhm.
But really, beside that, nah, not really. I think I'm good with the way it went. I learned a lot from it. And yeah, it was a process I would never forget. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was okay. I like that.
Never
Yeah.
forget is definitely one thing I think is important. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I definitely appreciate your answers. I mean, because this is probably one of the hardest questions I ask people because a lot of people they have to reflect a lot into it and think about if they would change anything. And I definitely agree with you. Looking back at it, if I guess where I am right now, if I'm happy with it, then I have no regrets for
Yeah,
what happened.
yeah, I feel
But
that. Yeah.
obviously, there's some things some people would mention like time management. Actually getting on it a little bit more.
Right.
But like you said,
Definitely.
but I like how you mentioned it's a learning lesson in itself. So if
Yeah.
you didn't develop those management skills, then at least you probably develop them now, or you will sometime in the future.
Yeah.
So yeah, all right, awesome. I mean, let's I guess let's shift a little bit more back into USD itself. So
Sure.
I actually want to touch up back to your kind of like your social environment because, like you mentioned, it was kind of rocky for you at first. It was hard to find friends for like the first 2 weeks or the whole month of school. And obviously, you had us in our suite. We were obviously like pretty close for the most part. But I would
Yeah.
think for you, branching out and finding a lot of friends because whenever anyone sees you now, we see you with like, always with someone. You're always hanging out with people, and I think it's actually really cool.
Yeah.
So, what was your way of actually getting that social life or getting that support system developed?
So what happened was, um, so like the one person I met during orientation and I kept in touch with, um, she told me she's Nigerian and she told me about, oh, there's this international group. You should go apply. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm really feeling it. You know what I mean? I was in my bag. This is like the first 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just like, so I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna look into it. So I did a little research on it. I mean, I looked at their Insta and their website, and I applied, and I surprisingly got in. I was like, oh. So that was really my ticket into a social life, I guess, because
I think we
no,
were there when you got accepted, right? That was for the expat, right?
yeah,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
I remember we were there because I remember you said that you got accepted, and all of us were like around you, were like hyping you up. It's like, yeah, let's go now.
Yeah, and like I was so shocked because at the meet and greet, this is still the first 2 weeks, and I'm shocked. They're like 10 or 75 people in a small room, and they're talking to people, and I was quiet the whole time. I was just like looking around. I was like, oh my God, I'm definitely not gonna get in. So I'm just wrap this up, go sleep. But I did get in, and that really helped me meet people, develop social skills, because I realized that I was really lacking that department, like holding a conversation, starting one. So that really, really helped me, and I'm, ever grateful for. And then I also found a Pan-African Student Association, PASA. That was really nice because it really kind of brought home to school. I shared a lot of similarities with the members, and we're still in touch today. So it's really, it was tough, but you really have to go out of your circle. I mean, your comfort zone, and just be uncomfortable for a little bit, and just reach out really, because I feel like people really undermine the social aspect of college in terms of going out of your way, but there's a lot of effort on your part to really find friends and meet the people you like. So yeah, that's pretty much.
Yeah, and I think it was fortunate that USC, like we mentioned, has a pretty large international population.
Yeah,
So we have a lot of international student organizations, like you mentioned with
yeah,
backpack. And then yeah, I think it's good to have like you said, your PASA, the Pan African student organization as well too. I think it's important, like I at least for me, and me in the Asian American community, I know a lot of Asian students who join those culture clubs because it gives them a sense of home or gives them a
yeah,
sense of what they're used to. And I would say, especially for you and a lot of other international students, that would definitely be relevant as well too. Just having something that you can still connect to, stay true to your roots. even though the entire environment might be different. And
Yeah.
I just want to say, I guess another thing, touching up while we're still on like these kind of extracurriculars or like these other groups, what are some other extracurriculars that you're participating in? If you want to touch up on any of them, or even like just anything that you do on the side. I know you play sports a lot, like soccer in particular.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to touch up on any of those.
Okay. So it's kind of weird. I was talking to my dad the other day, and he was like, "Are you in any student orgs?" And I was like, "No." But it was actually, I don't know whether this is the best decision, but it was intentional because I really wanted to use my first year to really settle in. So definitely second year, I'm gonna be sophomore year, I'm gonna be applying to more clubs. But like, I mean, like when I say first semester was kind of tough, like I really meant that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But second semester was a lot better, even though it got cut short. So definitely, I'm not a guy who's really in a rush to, do things. I prefer to like take my time and understand what's happening. So that's why I'm not in any student orgs at the moment. But things I did on the side, I was honestly, I think I may have been hanging out a bit too much, but I did play soccer almost weekly. That helped me keep fit. Yeah, that's pretty much all I did first year. First year for me was really like my settling phase. Second year, I'm definitely going to get more involved. I don't know how well that's going to go, given the virus and stuff like that, but we'll see. Hopefully it goes.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you. I mean, I know, at least for me, I was participating in organizations, but I know a lot of friends of mine who, they decided to take things slow as well too. Try to settle in. I mean, all of us have our own pacing styles of getting to where we are. And, it doesn't mean that you're not going to be successful if you don't do things your freshman year. Like you said, take the time to grow, understand, get that social environment. And clearly, at least from us and the rest of our suite, we've noticed that, yeah, it's definitely worked out in your favor. We'll see your Snapchat stories like, oh my God, he's partying right now. This dude getting it. So,
don't pay me like that. Don't do that. I study, guys. I study. I swear.
Yeah, no, you study. No, we see you study too, but on the weekends, like it's like a work hard, play hard kind of thing. Like
Yeah,
I think it's actually a good balance. So no, we're not bashing you. We're just like, damn, I wish I was partying with him right now too. It's like,
I know.
but yeah, no, I think I guess another question I just want to ask is, yeah, like we've mentioned, I think it's really, I know we're touching up a lot on this international thing, but I think it's definitely prevalent. What would you say
Yeah.
is something that you got to do here in the United States, or like something that you were able to experience in college that you weren't able to back home in Ghana? Like, what was something new that you were able to do?
That's a tough question, buddy. Let's see. I mean, definitely a universal feeling would be the freedom.
Yeah.
So that's a big one. Sheesh. I think one thing would be definitely wholesome moments, kind of. I found that in college, you definitely, you can wake up. I remember this. It was a random Saturday. I was not doing anything with my life, and I had lunch, and I met with a friend, and he was like, "Oh, let's go to a park." I'm like, "Okay." So it was really random. I was like, "I bet." It was like a park slash museum kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
So we went, and it was just like really, it was a beautiful day. I mean, the sun was out. We just spoke, we laughed for hours, and it's really moments like that. You can go on hikes and stuff. That was my biggest thing, definitely, because I mean, like back here, I do have those moments, but I don't know, it just definitely wasn't as intense. As the ones I've experienced in uni. It's just like, because you meet different people, from everywhere.
Yeah.
And you meet someone from, no matter where they're from, they always have something interesting about them. And when you get to know them more, it's beautiful. Like everyone just has a certain beauty about them.
Yeah.
College it's a trip. I mean, you meet so many people, you have so many moments. So I think definitely, wholesome moments was a big thing for me.
Yeah, no, I never even thought about that. Like, a lot of times that we've had, like, just, whether it was in our suite or hanging out with friends too, like having those moments. I think it's, I definitely agree with you because, we have those moments back home with our family or with the friends from high school, but we've been used to it. We've already known them for years and
Yeah.
months. Whatever. Coming into college, like, you don't know anyone, but you still get those moments. And,
Yeah.
whether
It's
it's like
weird.
you said, yeah, for sure. Like whether it be walks in the park or, staying up till like 3 in the morning, which I know we did a lot.
Yeah, we did a lot. Those are fun. You know what I mean?
No
Those are
regrets. No, no regrets. Those were fun moments. Like, you look back at them and you're like, oh, okay, maybe you missed a class the next year or whatnot, but you enjoy them. And,
yeah.
it meant a lot. And I think it's a way to develop those friendships. There's
Yeah.
obviously no regrets in staying up super late or, making random impulsive decisions.
None.
Yeah, no shame at all. Yeah. I think just to conclude this entire video, I would just want to ask, if you could give advice to high school students, whether that be for applying to college, the college lifestyle, or just life in general, what would you tell them?
Um, One thing I'll tell them is don't believe the hype. I guess it's
Like, what do you
tough.
mean? Like, what do you mean?
Uh,
Don't believe the hype?
what do I mean? Colleges, yes, I spoke a lot about freedom and fun moments, but you need to be able to have a balance. I mean, it's very key. And definitely the scary thing is it's so easy to lose yourself um, in college. It's just my biggest thing would definitely be stay true to who you are and who you've always been,
Mhm.
because it's very easy to fall in the trap of trying to form an image in order to like fit in or to, I guess, meet people and you become a likable person. I don't really believe in that stuff.
Yeah.
I just really, for college, definitely, stay true to who you are and don't have set beliefs on anything. Keep an open mind and always be willing to learn. Um, Definitely, it's college is big, especially if you go to like USC. There's so many people everywhere. It's like good, but
Yeah.
it's just keep an open mind, stay true to yourself, and just always improve as a person. There's no shame in that.
Oh, yeah. I definitely love that. I think I think the reason why college gets so hyped is because ever since you're in high school, whenever you're in school in general, you're told that to some extent that you have expectations of going to college. At least, from the communities we probably grew up in, the households we grew up in. It's like, we got to get to college. That's like the end goal. And so you've been
Yeah,
hyped up your entire life to kind of gear straight into college. And I know it's not the same for everyone. I know some, communities, they're prioritizing other things as well too. It's just dependent on how the factors of every single community. But at least for us, we've been
yeah,
kind of almost preparing our entire lives just to get into college, to
yeah,
experience that lifestyle. And then, yeah, you can feel kind of like you wasted your time or your life if you go to college and it's not glamorized like you see it on TV. It's not glamorized like how you thought it was going to be for the past 12 years since elementary school to high
yeah.
school. You start up in elementary school saying you're getting get into Harvard and get into high school. You're like, all right, let's
Yikes.
chill a little bit.
Yikes.
Yeah, exactly. No, but no, yeah, I definitely think no, that was really great. I think it was a really, it's a very honest opinion to give out. It's realistic. There's, as much as we like to imagine that college is really great and stuff like that, there are things that we have to be self-aware of. But yeah, and
And
obviously,
wait, one more thing.
yeah,
There are some really high highs, but there are super low lows.
yeah,
So you just need to balance that. That's it.
exactly. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. There's gonna be those high and low moments. But I mean, yeah, obviously, Nana, we want to thank you so much for coming out to give this entire talk. I know the time difference is a little bit off where you are, but yeah, obviously we want to
Thank
thank you
you
so
for
much
having me.
for yeah, for sure. And obviously, for everyone watching this, we hope they get a lot of information and value from it. So yeah, I mean, thank you so much.